Hi everyone, you are joining me on a windy and slightly wet rock mark. Today we have two targets in mind, flatties and wrasse. So in terms of flatties, actually I'm after two kinds, plaice on one rod and a big bait out for a halibut on the second rod. And also for the wrasse, that's going to be the same rig and same setup as the plaice. For baits, we have some lovely ragworm. I say lovely, some of them are a little bit on their last legs, but we have plenty of those for today's session. Probably going to be out for maybe 4 hours today. And frozen herring for the halibuts. So in terms of the rods, I've got my two competition blackouts with me with the glass tips and the reels on the one for the plaice. Let's take a look. I've already got this set up and ready to go. We have a deep puddle that I've just stood in. Lovely, and a wet foot now. Right, we have my Penn Fathom 15 and a 3-hook loop rig. I've actually stepped down my hooks for today's session. I have been using 3/0s when I've been out at this mark, but today I've got 1/0s on here and I've got my 6-ounce grip. This is a 18-inch loop rig with 3 hooks, clipped down, all ready to go, loaded with some of those lovely ragworm. So I'm going to get this chucked out. I'm going to find a better place to put my camera so I don't step in that lovely deep puddle again, and yeah, get fishing. And a bit later on, once my herring's a little bit more defrosted, I'll get the halibut rod set up and chucked out and we'll take a look at that one. Let's see what we can pick up today. Well guys, I've got the second rod set up now, ready to go. We have a lovely, big, juicy bit of herring on an 8/0 wrasse circle hook, pop-up foam above it with a 6-ounce grip. That's all held in place with the splashdown. That's on a 4.5-foot pulley rig. So 4.5-foot snood, slightly longer than 4.5-foot rig body. And this is ready to go out, get popped up off that butt. Who doesn't want a halibut, eh? This is what we've come to Norway for predominantly. I've never caught one. I'd love it if this trip yielded my first. So let's get this whacked out. Nice overhead thump. Oh, spinning in the air, that's not great. Ooh, I'll have to do a better job with my bait next time. That was definitely a bit spinny. I need to get it put on a bit neater, a bit more streamlined. Hopefully it's unclipped all right. If it doesn't hit the water clean, sometimes those splashdowns don't pop because you need that force of the water to push it up. Anyway, it's still sinking. There we go, on the bottom. I'll try and get it out a bit further next time. It's a little bit awkward standing here. I've got quite a lot of puddles around me. But it's been raining a lot in the night last night. So a little bit awkward with the footing today. Right, let's let that sink. Well, it's sunk, it's hit the bottom. Just letting the line settle. Keep tightening it up. Make sure my drag's set. One more click off, I think. That's better. And there we are, good to go. So I'll keep mending that line while it gets down to the bottom. I'm just going to check where the rocks are in front of me. Yeah, other line's all right. I was just checking it's a little bit close to the rocks where I didn't cast it too far out, so I was just making sure it's not rubbing there on those rocks. Right, let's tighten this up. And hopefully by the time I'm ready to put some more fish bait on, the herring will have defrosted a little bit more. We did get it out the freezer last night, but it's been pretty cold. And in fact, when I put it in my cool box, which I brought with me, my cool box had been in the freezer all night, so it was nice and cold, ready for the bait. It actually arrived here more frozen than the herring was when I put it in the cool box. So that's quite impressive really, isn't it? Anyway, I'll bring you back if we get a bite or get some action, and I'll keep you updated as we go through the session. Well, it's time to check the baits. Let's take a little look. I'm going to get the ragworms in. I haven't noticed any bites. Last time we fished here, I had a bite first chuck straight away as it hit the bottom pretty much. I don't think there's anything on here. We'll see if we've got any bait left. I might have to shift my tripod forward a little bit in a minute because I'm a bit cramped with the casting. I need to get my baits a bit further out than they've been going. Oh, I think I picked something up on the way in there. A bit of weed maybe, or it's catching on a rock. Try and keep it moving. Just a bit of weed, I think. You got a ting? Oh, Wayne's had a whiting. Oh, Oh, that's annoying that when that happens. Just a tiny, tiny bit of weed and untouched baits. Look at that. That little bit of weed is what I picked up that made the rod tip bend. But those baits, look at that, completely untouched. Take a look at the top hook there if I can get it still. Look at that, they're all like that, pristine. So they're going to go back out. I'm going to get this tripod shifted. And yeah, it's going to be a hard day, I think. A hard day's fishing. But it's still going to be fun. Well, I've literally just put my rod down after having tightened the line on the baits, the worm baits, that's the one on the right. And we have a bite. Not the biggest bite in the world, but a little rod tip rattle, there it goes. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry the camera's not at the best angle for you, but it's a little cramped space I'm on here. So hopefully you can forgive me for that. I'm just going to let this bite develop a little bit more. Previous video you'll have seen me catch a PB plaice from this mug. I'm just going to get some rubbish out of my pocket. You keep watching that rod for a second. But yeah, I have my PB plaice here. That was that 49cm beauty. So just in case this is a plaice, which is one of our targets for the day, I'm just going to let that develop a little bit. If I was at home, I'd have another rig ready, baited up, good to go. But I've got a long fishing trip out here, so I'm pacing myself a little bit more and taking it a bit more easy. Come on, bite. Still the odd little rattle there. Let's lift it up, see if it's on it. I can always pop it back down if it's not. Nope, let's pop the rod back down. Still tapping, just very, very tiny little tap. Oh, wicked. I'll bring you back if the bite develops. See you in a bit. Well guys, that bite's not come back, so we're going to reel in, check the bait, get it chucked back out. But that's a good sign though, because I got a bit of extra distance on that cast. Now I've moved the tripod forward and given myself more space to move. So it does show that we need to be that little bit further out to pick up these bites. You know what, actually the fish might be on here. There's definitely a little bit more weight than last time I reeled it in. So maybe it came back, hooked itself. Just walking quite carefully, the rocks are a little bit slippy where it's wet. Yeah, there's something on here. Definitely. It can tell it's coming up, it's pumping a little bit now. Be nice if it's another plaice, wouldn't it? It's definitely on. Just pulling back. Oh, my leader knot. Get that in the right place. There we are. What do we have? It's not a plaice. Hey, it is a beautiful Norwegian mackerel. Fresh bait. Fresh bait. Yeah. Oops, I've just got tangled on the tripod. Really tangled on the tripod. But look at that. We have a mackie. Unhook him. It's got a bit of snood line wrapped around there. I don't want to get a hook in my finger. There we are. Look at that beauty. Stunning colours on that fish. It's not the target species, but it's very welcome because that is going to produce a lovely bit of bait. Right, anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to get my worm baits back out and I'm going to change that herring for a lovely bit of fresh, juicy mackerel. We're not blanking, we're on the fish. That's what I like. So remember that mackerel I just caught? Well, I've now, oops, a bit grassy, but prepared a lovely sliver of bait. So I'm going to reel in my fish bait rod and that is going to go on in chucking that out instead. because you can't beat a bit of fresh bait, can you? I haven't made the biggest piece of bait out of it, but I thought I might get a little bit more distance that way and hopefully it won't wobble through the air. So let's get this one reeled in. I also need to reel it in because I accidentally missed an eye out when I was threading the line up. Not like me at all, I don't think I've done that for decades, but it happened. So I can sort that out, get this in, and get some fresh bait out there. Let me just step over this crevice. God, the bait's heavy, reeling in a heavy old bait here. It was quite a large bit of herring I chucked out. And there's also resistance from the pop-up foam. There it comes. Come up the rocks. Oh, look at that. That didn't present very well at all, did it? It didn't look like that when it went out. Still, it's coming off. And the bit of mackerel's going on. So we get it out there in a better state than it's come back in. See you in a moment. Well, let's take a little look at how I'm baiting this piece of mackerel up. First thing I've done is slide the mackerel onto my bait needle, and I've just nicked the circle hook through the skin. And what I'm going to do is use the bait needle to provide rigidity while I whip this on. So get my bit of bait elastic, just start winding gently. That's got it. I'm going to use quite a lot of elastic because this is effectively what's holding, or essentially what's holding this bait in place. Give it a really good whip as we move up the line, and this is where the bait needle really comes into play because I can get right to the top of that piece of fish. Go up and down a few times. So I'm using Baytech heavy bait elastic, which in my view works really well for baits like this. I'm going to try and be careful round that end piece there because I want it streamlined so it flies nicely through the air. Try and get it as straight as possible. The bait needle helps with that as well. So there we have the bait. I'll take the needle out, and then the last thing to do is to slide that pop-up foam down, and we have our lovely juicy bait with a massive hook waiting for that halibut. So let's get this clipped up, get it cast back out, give my hands a bit of a clean. I'm going to need a clean cloth. I'm using yesterday's hand towel and it's a little bit skanky by now. Nope, nothing happening on the other rod. So we get this one clipped up. Sorry if I went out of shot there, there's just not a lot of room to work. We're going to get this beautiful piece of fresh mackerel clipped up into the splashdown, which has been releasing perfectly since I shaved a little bit off the hook. If you saw one of my other videos, I've just been filing a little tiny bit off the edge of this 8/0 hook so that it releases well. So let's get this one out. That looks like a beautiful piece of mackerel bait for sure. Get my drop length right. That's about right. Okay, I've got slightly oily hands from those fish baits, but hopefully I'm not going to slip. If I have got a finger store with me if I need it. Right, let's get this out. Well, that span through the air. I got a spinner. Ooh, let's hope that hasn't tangled. It's still on its way down. Still going. Still going. That's it, it's on the bottom. Drag's good. Too loose. It's better. Right, now we'll wait for the line to settle. And we'll keep tightening that line up whilst it settles. And maybe something will come along and tuck into that piece of juicy, lovely fresh mackerel that we've just caught. Can't beat fresh bait. See you in a bit. Well, we've got another bite on the worm baits, guys. Line's a little bit loose. I'm just going to tighten it up. Turn the ratchet off. Now I'm standing right here. I don't need that ratchet on. Let's see if it comes back. Be nice if it's another big fat mackerel. Come on, fish, do your worst. No, it's not going to play ball. A few little taps. Oh, it's moving. The rod tip moved about 0.5 millimetre. Got a sign of life. The other line's still settling where I just chucked that bit of mackerel out. But the right hand rod is the one with the worms. Making my fingers sting, those ragworm. The lovely juicy wild dug things. No, that bite, maybe it's just moved on. No. No. Obviously, it's either a flatty that's just sucked in my bait and sitting on it, or it's something that's moved off. I'll bring you back if we get some action. Right, that bite nibbled a few more times, so we are going to see if it's there. Wayne's walked around to have a look.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I always have to tighten my reel seat up a little bit after I start fishing. I'll just knock you on the head.
Hello everyone.
Oh, I think there's a bit of weight on here. I'll just come forward a bit. It does stink, doesn't it? There's a bad smell wafting. Oh, it's got worse. Is it me? Yeah, it must be.
No, it's not. It's a factory.
Yeah, there's definitely some weight on that.
Keep it going then.
Another nice juicy mackerel wouldn't go amiss, would it?
That's not a mackerel.
No.
Oh yeah.
It's not really fighting. Makes me wonder if it's a crab.
Some of the small Codlin come in with their mouth open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not fighting back, but there's some weight on the rod. You can see the tip bending. The leader's coming.
Yeah, you got colour.
Got colour.
Got a fish.
Yep. Spinning.
Got a double shot.
A double shot. Oh, treble shot.
Oh, you got a treble shot.
Hey, look at that.
So you got a haddock,
A haddock.
a whiting, and a dab. That's pretty cool.
There you go, guys. Treble shot in Norway. 3 different species on one rig.
Well done.
They've spun it up good and proper. Look at that.
It's not a shore hunter rig, it wouldn't have done that. Well done.
Thanks, Wayne. No monsters, but hey, look. Still a treble shot, eh? I'll get them unhooked. We'll take a better look at them, especially the haddocks. We don't get many of them back in the UK, do we? I think I'm going to unclip the rig because it is spun. Like they've had some fun. Right, just clip that on there. Spinning fish. Woohoo! Hope they haven't trashed my rig, little beasts. Right, whiting have got a few teeth, so I'm going to use my T-bar on that. I'll unhook them and then I'll turn the camera back on. See you in a second. So there we go, a tiny, tiny little haddock. Beautiful little fish. You can see the little spot there that these haddock have. Look at that top fin, dorsal fin as well. Now I'm going to get this little chap chucked back. The others have already gone back in, so we'll get this chap away as well. Just walking a bit nearer the edge. There we go. Off he goes to fight another day. I'm going to get this rig sorted out. It's good and proper tangled. Then we'll get it chucked back out. See you in a minute. Well, guys, I got those fish back, as I said. I think I said. And you wouldn't believe what happened. The haddock was floating on the surface about 10 yards out. Sadly, he didn't swim off, so some of them don't. And a fish came up and just took it off the surface. I don't know what it was, but it was a big old fish. Took it down in one. Ooh, that was about 10 yards. I wish I had a lure rod on me because that would be going out now if I did. But the lure rod's back in the van at the moment. And whatever it was, is going to live to fight another day. It's making me tempted to put one out close, but anyway. These are going back out to where we know the flatties live. There we go, beautiful. Maybe when I reel that mackerel bait in another half an hour or so, I'll try putting it just about 10 yards out, given what I've just seen. That was a bit mental. Part of me's wondering if that was a halibut. Right, lead's on the bottom. As always, we're going to set the drag, set the ratchet. Right. That's pretty good. Maybe a touch tighter. There we are. Ratchet on. Drag set. And now all I've got to do is let that line settle and keep it tight. Anyway, that was a bit of excitement, seeing that fish come up and just whoosh, off the surface. We'll never know what it was, will we? But that was fun. See you in a bit. Just have the tiniest of taps on the right hand rod with the worms on. We know there's small fish out there based on the 4 fish I've caught so far. They're still just very gently tapping. There it goes. To be honest, I was hoping for a wrasse down here, which gives some fantastic bites. But they don't seem to be here yet today, which is very odd. The times I've fished this mark before, it's been a lot of wrasse. There we go, look. Bit of slack line, let's lift into it, see if it's on here. We got him? No. Pop it back down. I'll just hold the rod, see if we get another bite. Hopefully it's not swum off. Always have a bit of hope when the lead gets moved. I think it's got to be big enough to move the lead. You know what I mean? Got something in the eye. Something in the eye. I'll just wait here for a minute. If it doesn't bite again, I'll pop the rod back down. We've got 3 hooks. No. Maybe we spooked it. Just loosen that drag off a little bit again. That's good. Pop that ratchet on. There we are. Let's see if it's coming back. What I want is a nice big fish. You know, 50cm plaice, halibut. I'd settle for a small halibut, you know, 20, 30 pound. The weather has improved since we got here. When I was here, I had my coat on. It was blowing it was quite windy. It was a bit brutal in the wind. I mean, not brutal, that's over-egging it, but it wasn't pleasant. But now that wind's dropped right off, and it's a pretty lovely day. Certainly warm enough. In fact, all I've got on is my thermals and a t-shirt. I've got more clothes back in the van if I need them. But if it stays like this all day, I'm going to be absolutely fine. Oh, it looks like I must have spooked that fish. Oh, never a good thing, spooking the fish. Right. Well, I'm going to keep waiting. I won't keep you hanging around. If I get the fish, you know what's going to happen. You'll get to see it. Oh, that bite didn't come back. I've left it about 5 minutes or so. So we're going to reel it in, check the baits, get some fresh ones stuck out. Let's see, still might be something on here. It's a little bit of weight, but it might just be a little bit of weed. It doesn't feel very heavy at all. But it does feel a bit more than just a lead. Although there is a little bit of tide pull at the moment, which can always make it feel heavier than it is. But you know, I think there might actually be a fish on. I don't think that's just the lead. And we did have that bite after all. But here comes my leader knot. Make sure I get that at the side. There we go. Is there a fish or is it just the lead? Let's see. We have got a fish. Another flatty. A little plaice. It's not bad, eh? Not bad. No monsters. But there are fish feeding. So I'm going to get this place unhooked, get a chuck back, and we'll get some fresh baits on there. A little bit of sport keeping me entertained, eh? Love it. I think the lack of sleep Can't really say that. I got 9 hours last night. Something's gone to my head. That was a dab, not a plaice. What am I talking about? Plaice, dab, they're still flat, but it was definitely a dab. So there we go. A beautiful, perfectly marked, not plaice, Norwegian dab. Let's get this guy chucked back over the edge to live another day. Hook came out perfect, no blood at all. So this guy's going to swim off back down to the depths. And there we go. Lovely to see a few fish. Hopefully, all these little fish out in front of me are going to attract something a bit bigger. The sky's clearing, it's becoming blue, it's turning into another lovely day. And we're out fishing. Couldn't ask for more in life, really, could you? Well, the sun really has come out now. It's beautiful and bright. I've got beautiful, juicy ragworm to get chucked out. We'll go for the same sort of distance. Well, we've been picking up those little fish in the hope that something bigger is going to come along. Right, let's see how far I can get this. I might even try and get a little bit further. Like I say, it's very tricky casting off these rocks. I'm certainly hampered. Oops, that one a little bit to the right, left, get my right and left muddled up. A little bit to the left, so I'll swap my rods over. Not as far as I would have liked, but it's out there. I'm certainly feeling very lucky to be standing out on this rock, having a fish. That's it, we're on the bottom. It drags a bit tight. That's better. Right, so now we wait. We wait patiently for some more action. Well, it's not been out there long, but the left-hand rod with the worms on has got a bite. Very gentle little bite. I reckon it might be another dab, you know. Still hoping for a bigger fish today, as always. Just had a few gentle taps. It went about 3 or 4 times before I turned the camera on. But these fish can be camera shy. You keep watching that rod for me for a sec. Anything doing down there? Where's the bite? Come on, fish. Give us another little tap. It's the thing with their flatties though, they come along, they give a little nibble and they just sit there, don't they? They sit there and wait. Maybe not a halibut, but a dab and a plaice could sit there and wait. I think a halibut would go for a screaming run, to be fair. That's what we want to hear. That's what I'm using my fixed ball rod for. It'd be a bit easier for me to crank one in on that than it will using my multiplier. Right, we'll leave that bite. I'm going to reel the other one in that's got the mackerel on it. And we're going to try putting it closer in, just for a laugh. Because I saw that fish come up and take the haddock that had gone belly up, sadly. Here comes the leader. The mackerel looks pretty untouched from this distance. Let's take a look. Yeah, that is perfect condition. So I'm just going to pop that back out. Take a look at that. It looks like it did when I went out there pretty much. So yeah, that can stay. Sort that bit of pop-out foam up. We'll re-clip that. In fact, I might not even clip it because it's going to go 10 yards. All right. A very gentle little flick this is going to be. Keep that away from the line as it sinks. Don't want to get it tangled. So even though that's about, what, 15 yards I think that went, it's still going down. There we go, we're on the bottom now. It's so deep, even at the edge. It's mental. You know, for me, who's a south coast of England, clean sandy beaches fishing person for most of my quarry, this is completely different conditions, completely different landscape. Maybe one more click on that drag. That's too much. There we go. Right, let's see. Let's just see if there's anything 10 yards out. You've got to try different things, haven't you? Or you're never going to know what works best. Well, I've had a few more nibbles on the worm baits, which I've just left sitting here. So we are going to check these. I also had a little tiny nibble on the mackerel bait, but I think that's probably just a small fish at the edge having a little play on it. What I want is a big fish to have a play on it. Something big enough to get an 8/0 circle hook in its mouth. Anyway, let's get these baits in. I don't think there's a fish on here this time. So whatever it was, didn't take down my 1/0 saltwater champion hook. I don't think I said I was using fluorocarbon snoods on this loop rig. 18-inch snoods is kind of my go-to snood length at the moment. I go through little phases of using different rigs. Just like to keep mixing it up in life, really. But out here I've got a lot of 18-inch loop rigs made up for fishing with worm baits and smaller fish baits. 1/0s being the smallest hooks that I'm planning to use on this trip. There's a bit of a ledge there, I just caught on that. Something's had to go at the top hook there. The other baits look pretty untouched. So we'll get this one rebaited and we'll get it sent back out. Just lean this up on the rocks. Get some more worm ready and we'll chuck it back out. Guys, I've got another bite on the worms. That's the left-hander rod at the moment. It's just a little tap, tap, taps. Probably another little dab. There it goes. Let's just get ready. Maybe you can still see the rod tip. You might be able to see it better than me at the minute. There it goes, look. Give it one more go. That's still there. That was very, very gentle. I don't know if the camera would have picked that up. There it goes. Right, let's see if we got this one. Yeah, fish on. Hopefully this is a slightly better fish. It's certainly fighting more, even more than that mackerel. I'm still hoping for another lovely place down here. We shall see. There's definitely something on. Yep, it's definitely coming alive. The closer it gets to the top, the more it fights. It's pulling back. Let's see what we got. Leader's starting to appear. Get the knot at the side. What do we have? Yeah, I've got another fish. Wayne's just asking how things are going. It's a spinner. It's a spinner. It's another haddock. Little baby haddock. Slightly bigger than the first haddock. Yeah. Wayne's just saying I should throw this one in, see if something comes off and has it. There we go, look. Another lovely little haddock. I'll get this chap put back and we'll see what happens to him. It's his fate. So it's time for a mid-session update. We've had some dabs, some haddock, a whiting and a mackerel. The sky's cleared. It's pretty sunny, although the temperature is starting to drop because it's mid-late afternoon now. Wayne is trying to catch a monster from the deeps. and I'm trying to catch anything. But you know my main target is something flat. So I haven't had a bite yet on this cast on the worms, which is based on the previous cast of the day, unusual. And that bit of mackerel I dumped close in is still just sitting there. I'm going to check it soon, so I did have some plucks on it, which makes me wonder whether small fish have just been taking little bits out of it, so I might need to freshen it up. But yeah, that's the state of play. We've still got a few hours before darkness. I expect we'll be fishing till about then. I've got my headlamp back in the van just in case I need it later. But yeah, that's how we're doing. It's pretty good, isn't it? Enough action on the worm baits to keep me entertained, which is what I like. I'm all for mixing up my tactics to maximise my chance of catching something, even if it does reduce my chance of catching that big halibut. Oh, no, there we go, we've got a bite on the worms, just as I'm talking. Left-hand rod, just had a little pull down. I'm going to guess it's probably another one of those little haddock or a little dab. So I'm going to turn the camera off because that's not terribly exciting to see another one. We've already seen a few. But when I reel it in, if there's something on there, I'll switch the camera back on and you'll see what we've got. We've got another bite on the left-hand rod, the one with the worms again. Still no interest in my fish bait. Just little tiny plucks again. So I was just having a chat with Wayne and saying that actually all these little fish we're getting, these small haddock and small whiting, actually give me confidence because I reckon there'd be something big out there trying to eat them. I didn't think that with ballan wrasse. I'm not sure there's going to be lots of things out there trying to hunt a ballan wrasse. But there you go, you see we've just got little tiny taps there. So we give it some time to develop and then we'll reel it in. The sun's come out from behind the cloud and it's just gloriously warm again. There it goes, tap, tap, tap. Tiny little bites. It's a good job I've got glass tips on these rods because they do show up the bites pretty well. Whatever this is, it's a very small fish. Either that or a very picky one. Right, I'm going to reel it in and have a look. Oh, there's some weight. We've got some weight. God, my reel is sounding rough. It's been working hard this week. I think it needs some oil in the bearings, but I haven't got any with me, so it's tough luck. Yeah, we've got something on here. A bit of a bend in that old tip, eh? Oh, it's woken up. Oh, it's just caught on that ledge. They try and get under that ledge, they do, when they come up. I'll say that ledge. You probably don't know. There's a ledge in front of me. They just have a little dart for freedom, I think, when they see it. What have we got? I can't see it yet. Oh, I think it's come off. Oh, it popped off at the edge, look. Damn it. What's been munched? Middle hook and bottom hook. So 2 hooks have been attacked there. Look, you can see that middle hook, look. Munched a good one. Somebody's had a right go at that. Top hook looks all right though. So I'll rebait, get it chucked back out. Well, I didn't have time to get my camera on then, guys. But we have 2 more species. Let's have a look at the first one. Yeah. A little poor cod. Looks like he's seen better days, sadly. He's just been pulled up from the depths. And I'm just going to get my T-bar to show you the next one. Not the biggest fish in the world, but a welcome. Another species for the day. We're just going to get the T-bar in to get this hook out. This one's got teeth. There we are. Look at this. Beautifully marked little codlin. So clearly too small to keep, but we're going to get this guy chucked back. We're on the fish. They are feeding and it's fun. So there we have him. Beautiful. Get the blood off my hand. Do that again. So there we have him, guys. A beautifully marked little codlin. Let's get these two chucked back. Sadly, I don't think the poor cod is going to make it. But in it's going to go. Poor cod goes back. Proper cod. Whoa! Straight down. Yeah, it's a bit shifting it that way, isn't it? Scotty's float fishing next to me. His float's just drifting across. We're talking a little bit about the tide there. But yeah, that cod was straight back down to the bottom. Let's get some more ragworm out. Well, no sooner have I cast back out, I've got another bite on the worms. There it goes. The line hasn't even finished settling yet. Because I'm standing right here, I'm going to take my ratchet off. It's still there, look. Oops. Thought I'd taken that off. Still there. Stand up, make it a bit easier for myself. Hopefully you can see that rod tip in shot. I think you can. Look at it bouncing. Still there. It's definitely been a bit of a species hunt day today. It wasn't quite the plan. I haven't had the wrasse yet I wanted, or the plaice. Might be something little, like that poor cod I just landed. A cod, poor cod, whiting, haddock, dab, mackerel. Not bad, eh? Alright, let's see if he's on it. Yep. Pretty sure there's something on this. Is there? Oh, not sure now. I think I've missed it. We'll find out soon enough. Bait's not been out there long, so all I'll need to do is top up whatever's been bitten, get it chucked back out. I haven't got a huge amount of ragworm left for the day, and that's what I've been picking these fish up on. If I start to run really low, I might stick fish on one hook, rag on the other two. Oh, there is some weight on it. Like I say, we have got a bit of tide around at the moment, so it could just be the tide. These seagulls circling. We've got a fish, a double shot. A double shot. I'm in the poor cod shoal now. Two more poor cod, guys. There we go, look. Poor cod indeed. Let's get these fellas unhooked and chucked back. Two poor cod. As soon as I put that rod down, after chucking it back out, I'm into bites. I think there's a shoal of poor cod swimming in front of me. And now I'm picking them up. If I keep picking up poor cod, I might take a break for 10-15 minutes from the worms so that I don't run out. I've only got a few left, maybe 2 or 3 worms. Getting 2 baits out of each one though, they're quite big. These are really tiny little bites. Quite the sun's going down, it's getting a nip, the wind is getting nippy. Oh, I'm going to leave that for a bit. I'm going to put my coat back on, put the ratchet back on. That's set about right. We'll see what happens. Poor cod are in. We've got to flock to the beaches when the poor cod are in. What do we have? Oh, it's a spinner, that's why. A double shot of spinning fish. They're definitely here in numbers. 2 more poor cod. I don't really want to be catching fish that small. They don't do well being dragged up from the depths, spinning around like that. Their eyes pop and they don't go back well. So I'm going to sort those guys out, change tactics for half an hour or so until this shoal moves past. See you in a bit, guys. Oh my God, Scotty just lost a really big halibut that he was float fishing with a fish bait. Yeah, we reckon at least £40 probably. But his leader snapped when it was that close in. And now I've got something having a go at my mackerel on the right hand rod. It's had a few little bits of interest. There it goes again. I want it to really rip off though. We don't want little bites on the mackerel, do we? We're coming up to the witchy now though. The sun is there. Yeah, so earlier on in this video you might have seen me say I've chucked in that dead, oh well, it wasn't dead when I chucked it in, the haddock, and it went belly up and floated, and something come up and took it. That inspired Scotty to get that float out and fish a floated fish bait. And yeah, gutting.
Mate, it's nobody's fault. If it was meant to be my fish, it would have been my fish. And then the fish was there.
But whatever is chewing my mackerel down there is not big enough to take it and rip off. I think the seagulls have just arrived. They've seen a couple of those poor cod that I've chucked back that are not in a good condition to go back, sadly. It's like when you pull them up from this deep, their eyes just pop. It's not good. That's why I've stopped fishing for them now. Got fish baits on both, mackerel on the right, just smaller fish baits on Frio loop rig on the left. Seagull feeding time.
I reckon that technique will work off the...
Anyway, if this screams off, I will bring you back. See you in a bit, guys. So that lovely bit of fresh mackerel, I chucked out has resulted in a fish. Not the species we really wanted, but a better size whiting. So we're going to get this guy sent back and on his way. Not big enough to eat and definitely worth putting back. See you in a bit, guys. Well, guys, the sun is beginning to set, bringing us to the end of another session. So it's been a species-filled day today, and how gutting that Scotty lost that butt. For me, that probably would have been the best fish of my life. Well, it would have been by far. So a bit gutting about that. But we've had loads of fish. We've had cod, poor cod, mackerel, pout. Did we catch a pout? No, we didn't catch a pout. Whiting, dab, whatever else I had. Forget, I can't remember. Anyway, it's time for us to pack up, go back and get some dinner, recharge our batteries before we come out again tonight. And to be fair, I probably won't film this evening because it's just really hard filming in the dark. I don't have decent lights for it. So the next time you see me, it'll probably be another day here in Norway. If you've enjoyed this video, please do click the like button. And thanks to everybody who's watching. It's great. I'm really pleased that there seems to be quite a few of you out there enjoying the videos that I'm putting up. So that's all for now.